You need to ignore Donald Trump's Bitcoin rug pull because something just quietly happened yesterday that I believe, and Michael Saylor believes, opens the door for $5 million Bitcoin. Now, don't get me wrong. I know it looks like a rug pull. It looks as if Donald Trump has pulled the rug on Bitcoin in this brand new executive order that got confirmed yesterday. That's right. This executive order we're looking at, if you scroll down and take a look at it, don't get me wrong, it says crypto 4 times. It says blockchain 4 times. It even says the dirty word digital assets 9 times. And not once did it mention Bitcoin. Everybody was expecting we would see a Bitcoin strategic reserve executive order signed. But there was no mention of Bitcoin in this executive order. But I think something even more consequential has happened. And I think something even more consequential has been signed by Donald Trump. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about today? And how does it relate to $5 million Bitcoin? Well, let's start diving in here. Because what I think is far more consequential for Bitcoin is the fact that SAB 121 was repealed yesterday. We're going to be breaking down exactly what that is. We're going to be breaking down why it is relevant, what it has to do with the banking system, who right now have just been greenlit an opportunity to not only buy Bitcoin, but they've just been greenlit an opportunity to hold Bitcoin on the balance sheet. Now, this is the most pivotal and most important part about what has just happened with SAB 121. This has essentially opened the floodgates for Bitcoin. Now, why does this relate to $5 million Bitcoin? And firstly, what is SAB 121? Before we talk about the $5 million Bitcoin prediction angle to this video and how it relates to Michael Saylor, let's break down SAB 121. So this was a rule that was blocking the big banks from being able to buy Bitcoin. Okay, when we dive in here and we make this big screen, I've kind of highlighted the most important part. Today, so this is brand new news, but today the SEC repealed SAB 121, which had presented significant challenges for regulated financial institutions seeking to provide custody or certain other services involving crypto assets. I'm going to make that as big as possible for you guys so you can read what I'm reading right now. But essentially, the long and the short of it was that this stopped the banks, the big banks, from being able to custody Bitcoin. And this was the final domino needed for Michael Saylor's $5 million Bitcoin prediction. Who remembers what Michael Saylor said on a Twitter space back in early 2024? Who remembers it? Saylor said we need 3 things for $5 million Bitcoin. Okay, here it is. Here's the prediction for those who might have missed it. The conditions coalescing around billionaire Michael Saylor's $5 million Bitcoin call. He said we needed 3 things. Who caught me put 4 fingers up there for a moment? We needed a spot Bitcoin ETF. We got that in early January 2024. That is ticked, done, finished. The second thing we needed was FASB fair value accounting. Michael said we need FASB fair value accounting. When did that get introduced? Literally 3 weeks ago. I'm not joking. This literally went into effect literally 3 weeks ago. Let's blow it up so you guys can see what we're talking about. It's done. It's finished. It's approved. It's live. Public companies can now put Bitcoin on the balance sheet. Again, we got the spot Bitcoin ETFs. And now we have in what was received as a relatively underwhelming executive order from Donald Trump, we now have banks being able to custody Bitcoin because Donald Trump has repealed SAB 121. It's over, it's finished. Again, these are the three things that Michael Saylor believes Bitcoin needs to clear the pathway to get to $5 million a coin. Again, this is not a Bitcoin is going to $5 million per coin tomorrow video. That's not Michael's base case. I want to misrepresent what he's saying. But what he has said is that $5 million is not only just the beginning, but it is inevitable once we get these three things cleared. So I'll let you guys come to your own conclusions regarding the time frames of when we will see $5 million Bitcoin. What I do think is that I think it's interesting that the Bitcoin supply suffocation could be playing a relatively large role in creating this world of $5 million Bitcoin. Because we can see now that there are a lot. I nearly used the word hundreds, and technically maybe I could, but there is 158 publicly traded companies who are squatting on Bitcoin right now. We can see when I take you guys back here, 156, that's the official number. 156 public companies right now are squatting on Bitcoin. And they're saying, you know what? There is no second best. Bitcoin is a treasury reserve asset. Let's have a look at some of the biggest holders here. So again, I want to give you guys an update because a lot of the publicly traded companies are increasing their Bitcoin holdings. I want to make this chart as big as possible. But the charts I want to show you is just how rapidly the Bitcoin buys are increasing here by these publicly traded companies. Look at MicroStrategy, for example. Huge increase in late 2024, early 2025. They are the biggest holder of Bitcoin. Let's have a look at Marathon. The same thing. Huge increase in 2025. Look at how long Marathon was slowly but steadily accumulating Bitcoin on the balance sheet. And then it's gone absolutely parabolic. They are the second largest publicly traded company with Bitcoin on the balance sheet. What about Riot? Again, all of this is very related to this supply suffocation that I believe we're living in. Riot, very slowly, very steadily accumulating Bitcoin for 4 years. This chart goes all the way back to 2020. And have a look at it go absolutely parabolic in late 2024, early 2025. The supply suffocation, I believe, is really starting to increase. We're really starting to see Bitcoin ripped off the exchanges. And I believe this is just some data for you to be looking at when you're trying to figure out when might we see that $5 million Bitcoin? Could it be coming sooner than you think? I want to show you some more data that makes me even more bullish here in a moment when I show you guys the Bitcoin supply on exchanges, because as we're going to see, it is not quite an all-time low, but as All Night Hider in the chat here says, they are being drained. They are being drained, and they are at a 7-year low. Coins on exchanges are rapidly disappearing. This obviously gets me to the part of the video before I show you guys a couple of the charts looking at the supply suffocation. This gets me to the part of the video where I say, hey, if you've got Bitcoin on exchange, please get it off an exchange. Go stick it in a hardware wallet. Take custody of your own keys. I'll summarize it for you. Take advantage of the $10 of free Bitcoin you can get from Rhino. We believe they have the all-in-one Bitcoin super application, and pay very close attention to what Donald Trump is doing. I think too many people are looking at this executive order and they're saying, okay, it was a little bit of a nothing burger. It was a little bit of a disappointment. Some people have even called it a rug pull, which is why we used it in the title of today's video. I still think it's a step towards a Bitcoin future. I still think it's a step towards the largest nation state in the world embracing Bitcoin. Yes, it mentioned a lot of crypto, digital assets, and a lot of those other kind of shenanigans. But let's just continue watching what Trump is doing. Let's continue buying our own Bitcoin. Again, go and do that at Rhino Bitcoin. Link down below. Go get your hands on that $10 of free Bitcoin they're giving away to you guys. With all that said, I'm going to keep today's stream short and sweet. Good evening to everyone in the chat, keeping us on our toes, helping out with the audio issues. All Night Hide has even put the link to Rhino Bitcoin in the live chat down below. Have a look at that. Johnny Midas is in the chat, the man who has not missed a live stream, I don't believe. And with all that said, guys, I'll see you in the next live stream.